we get to introduce to the CAA Kevin Keatts. And Kevin, first of all, welcome to the conference, but that's going to be a tough act to follow with Adele. I mean, that's commitment when you're high-fiving a player and carry your Achilles.
What you guys miss is how athletic she was. I mean, she really got off the floor when she did that.
Oh, I know. She's got it. As we said, welcome to the conference, and I just want to get your overall impressions now that you are the head coach for the Seahawks at UNC Wilmington. What do you look at this conference as representing?
Well, I think it's an unbelievable conference. I remember growing up in Virginia, where I grew up as a ACC and a CAA fan, and I've been following CAA basketball since 2006 when George Mason went to the Final Four and Wilmington won the league. So I love the conference, and I think it's tremendous.
You know, you had one of the best players play for you that went to George Mason. Of course, he ended up at Louisville and was the MVP of the national championship, Luke Hancock. That has to be a thrill for you.
Oh, it was exciting. You know, Luke came to us from Roanoke, Virginia, and had no recruitment. And Jim Larinaga and his staff signed him at George Mason. And obviously the rest became history. You know, he decided to join me at Louisville. And at one point, when we won the national championship, he had not lost an NCAA game at all. That first year when he went with George Mason, they won the first game, and he had food poisoning the second game and, didn't play. So I'm excited for Luke and what he's done there.
Let's talk about your program. There are a number of players that you've got returning. It's not bad to have three seniors to work with in Cedric Williams and Addison Sproul and Freddie Jackson. What kind of nucleus does that provide you for your first year?
Well, I've certainly challenged the seniors, especially a guy like Cedric Williams and Freddie Jackson who have been there 4 years. And you talk about Addison Sproul, you know, he's a JUCO guy, so I always feel like a junior college guy takes a year to adjust. Mm-hmm. But it's been exciting. One of the things that we talked about with these guys, because in their 3 years, going into their senior year, they've right now lost 65 games. And, I've kind of dedicated the season to these guys because I want them to go out on a winning note. And their effort's been unbelievable for me every day.
What about your style of play? I know you're work for Rick Pitino, and Rick, of course, is the kind of coach that adapts to everything, but he was a great pressure guy. And do you feel like you got the personnel to do that?
Well, when you take over a program, one of the things that you want to do is you want to implement your style from the foundation. And certainly we're going to play similar to the way I played at Hargrave and Louisville. It'll be a scaled-down version of it because certainly we don't have but 10 scholarship guys to be able to play that way. But we want to get out in transition, and we want to pressure on the defensive end. But, with the personnel that we have, we won't be able to do it as we will in year 2 and 3.
One of the newcomers you have is a transfer from Tennessee, Yemi Makanjula. Can you tell us a little bit about him?
I'm impressed that you were able to get his last name right. That's more important. You know what? He's doing well. I've been very impressed with Yemi. I always tell everybody it's probably in the country in Division I basketball, it's probably 10 to 15 legitimate centers. And we have one at UNC Wilmington, and I like the fact that we can throw the basketball inside to him and be able to score. And he's physical, he can rebound. He's going to be a very good player for us.
I had the opportunity to do one of the games down there last year. I watched him work out, and I think he's going to be something that a lot of teams in this league have not seen because he really impressed me in his workout.
Yeah, he reminds me, we were fortunate enough when I was at Louisville to play against College of Charleston, and Baru, who certainly is a guy who could have played at a higher level. Those guys remind me of each other because certainly, he's got some of those abilities that Baru would have.
Let me ask you also, too, about an article I read on ESPN.com about your recruiting. Now, I know you did a great job with it while you were an assistant with Rick Pitino at Louisville. How dramatically does it change now for what you're trying to accomplish at UNC Wilmington? What kind of player are you looking for when you're out there recruiting?
I don't think it changes much, and I was asked this question before. I think what happens is you get a little undersized guy that can do the same thing. Instead of a guy being 6'8", 6'9", you may have to get a guy that's 6'7", 6'6", 6'7" that can do those things, or they may be a tad bit slower or not as fast or jump as high. But, I want to recruit the same type of guys because, when you're going recruiting and you're trying to play an up-tempo style, you got to find guys that fit your system, and that's what I'm looking for.
One of the things I think you probably already know is that when you get it going down there, that is the toughest place to play in this league. Believe me, I played against Jerry Wainwright's teams and Brad Brownell, It's a tough place. They have great enthusiasm. They have good crowds. I think you're going to enjoy that.
Yeah, you're right about that. Every coach that when I took the job, I had every coach that ever coached in the CAA said when they saw Wilmington, they knew they had to go to Wilmington, they would check it off as a loss. And I agree with you, and I'm excited about our community. I think they're going to get behind the program again. Our freshman class overall has turned out to sporting events and record numbers, and I think we got a chance to get it back. And the place holds 5,100, and I told everybody, eventually we want to try to figure out how we can get 6,000 people in there.
I think they used to have 6,000 in that.
Yeah,
5,100.
a few fire codes were violated, and that humidity could work to your favor.
No question.
Right? Now, you're going to have a little bit of a Patino reunion with the early schedule. You play both Minnesota and Louisville this year.
Yeah, but Coach called me and he said, I did you a big-time favor. And I said, what's the favor? And he said, well, I put you on ESPNU on national television. I was like, are you sure you did me a favor? But no, we're excited just to have the opportunity to take my team back in their place where we were very successful, and 23,000 people screaming at you, just that atmosphere. And I'm excited to play him and Richard because I think playing those guys will prepare us for the tough CAA schedule.
Well, Kevin, listen, first of all, we welcome you to the CAA, and we certainly wish you a good luck in your first year and a good long run at UNC Wilmington.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. Kevin Keatts, the new head coach with the Seahawks.